live. Yay! 1 second, I will prepare everything for the recording. 111. This is okay. And 3, 2, 1. Hello, and welcome to the Non-Intuitive Bits podcast brought to you by the Leaders Club that you're actually part 2 if you're listening to us. But as usual, do consider innovating your club membership by joining our Discord channel. And today, in this virtual studio, we have Dmitry Mananikov. Say hi to people.
Happy Friday or Saturday.
Let me. I had a question about this, but and the annoying voice is usually Slava Kavlevsky. Question that I had: is it a payday on your side today?
I don't think so. I think we have payday 15, 16.
Okay. Oh, so it's not Fridays.
No, it's just like middle of the month, like start of the month and middle of the month.
I see. Okay, I was hoping that there is some technical reasons why the company doing payday on the same day each second week, and because it.
No, I don't think so.
I see. Okay. Okay. That's that was out of the blue. Absolutely no reason for the question. Out of curiosity. I have several interesting topics I wanted to chat with you about, but do you have a warming up topics? Something small to chat, something, whatever you want.
Probably something not really worth discussing, but like talking about salaries. Apparently, these days, I think it's like this Monday or next Monday, US changes how stocks is trading. So before settlement was like 2 days, like you buy something and it's yours in 2 days, but now it's I think 1 day.
Yeah, this I think should be soon, right? T+1 settlement.
It says like today or next month, so like this month or next month. I guess it's because like right now most of the trades or like all of them done via online or like through electronic. No one actually go and trade anything manually.
I guess that's probably it. I wonder how many things will break.
That's a good question. I'm pretty sure someone will still be delayed. It's like because somewhere in code it's hard coded to be 2 days.
Absolutely, yes. But there is only sign a good hope because looks like they already did it 2017. They reduced it by day, and now they're reducing it by day again. Mm-hmm. So I'm pretty sure the worst case scenario was when they did it the first time.
Yeah, I guess so.
Okay, from my side, I have minor things. So someone send F1 Formula Mercedes car Lego set to, I wonder how much it costs. Okay, it's 200 Lego sets, so it's effectively F1 car, F1 Lego car, Mercedes. I just picked up the new hobby, Formula One, actually for quite some time, but this season I'm watching everything with Formula One related, and this is my team that I was rooting to. I'm just going to switch it to Ferrari soon. And someone send this Lego set to the address of my company, LLC.
Interesting.
Yes.
Is it like do you know like who, what the like name, or it's like anonymous?
Nothing on the box. Is just nothing. Literally nothing.
Interesting.
Who's, and not to me personally, to my LLC. And before I got actually 2 times when someone would be sending goods to me, not ever that pricey, maybe 2 times less pricey, and that actually was a fraud.
Yeah, I know Amazon doing some kind of fraud with it, but like Lego and the car is probably someone who knows you into Formula.
Yes, but again, not me personally, to the LLC.
Yeah,
So
exactly. So they also know address of your LLC. Maybe
that's
the message, they know all about you.
but that part is simple. You're just googling the LLC and
I see. You can
public.
find
Yes.
it. Okay.
So the fact that
Did
there
you
is
assemble it already?
in the process.
Okay.
It's like 1,500 pieces. And I'm amazed how technically detailed it is. It's you can understand how car works. In fact, many questions that I had out of curiosity but never bothered to learn, like how, for example, engine has a particular RPM, but your wheels might be having a completely different RPM. So your left wheel might be spinning with a different speed than the right wheel, and how this magic works, because engine output the very constant RPM, then you convert it to a rotational speed on your wheels.
So differential.
Yes, how differential works actually inside, and now you have to actually assemble it.
Yeah, like Lego doing like pretty cool job with like repeating what's in the real world in some way.
Yep. Anyway, Formula One is now my new hobby. I'm watching all Formula One's Grand Prix these seasons. I used to be a small fan. Now I became a big fan of Formula One.
What changed?
It slowly grew on me. Like slowly, you started with this Netflix Drive to Survive show. It's an amazing Netflix show that actually documentary about the Formula One. And it shows behind the scene, a lot of stuff that's happening behind the scene, dynamics between the teams. I would highly recommend, if you want to be exposed to that sport, and start with season 1. Even though it's documentary, you might miss out a lot of the context if you will start from the last season. And after that we start watching, because it's give you the most important parts of the season, so to speak, and then you start actually watching slowly the best Grand Prix on the season. And now I finally got to the stage when I just watching all the Grand Prix during the season.
Okay, so what do you like about Formula One?
The best part is that unlike other sports, it's actually competition partly between athletes, but also partly between engineers. It's engineering.
Built like a better car.
Exactly. Yes. Just to give you a perspective, Lewis Hamilton was the champion for the last roughly 10 years, plus or minus, and don't remember how long. Lewis now maybe in top 5, and the only thing that have changed the car. Nothing else.
So other people making better cars?
Exactly. So the Red Bull makes the better cars now. Ferrari makes a better car than they are. And there is many things how it works, but mostly 2 things. They they actually limiting how much money you can spend on R&D. And they actually changing the rules. And they would change the rules on the side on a question like how big the car can be, or how many elements you can put in particular parts. And because of those change, R&D has to find a new shape, aerodynamic shape, or new engine that would fit the new requirements. And they changing requirements roughly once per 5 years. That will force the team to go to the drawing board and make a bets around what actually will work.
It makes sense. Otherwise, it's just stale, right? Like any other sport. So Ferrari, I understand, right? Like they made sport cars like for many decades, right? Red Bull, do they assemble car like everything production like on their own? Do they use some other brands? How it works? Like, for example, if me and you we get a budget and we want to like make a F1 car. What can we do? Should we do like everything by hand, like from the metal till car, or we can buy some parts?
So there is a team, Haas, US team, that's constantly somewhere in the bottom of the list. Not the worst team, but very close to the bottom. And this team is actually assembling components from out of the shelf. Everything that can be bought, almost nothing. Sure, they have the engineers who buying the components and assembling and many things, but they has one of the cheapest car just because it's just buying what is available out there.
Yeah, but like I can understand like you can buy like a steering wheel, like maybe wheels, but things like engine seems to be very like low series production. I mean, how many F1 cars in the world, right? Like very few. And are there any actually companies that can sell you engine for F1 car? Not a custom made, but like off the shelf.
Oh,
Is
yes.
there like a market for these things?
It costs a lot, but Red Bull, I think, used to use Renault. I don't remember Red Bull F1 engine. So there is many. So let's see what they're using Honda now. So they switch recently. And before they used to have, I think it was some European style, right? Renault, sorry. And they vary to some extent. So Honda might be selling actually in other cars to another companies or teams their engines, but there is a huge difference between their generic engine that they're selling to almost everyone up to the very custom build, up to the requirements that Red Bull might be having.
I see. So there's like still some customization, I guess.
Yes. Judging with the sound, it's noisy. I think.
F-35?
Yes, we actually have a few bases around us where F-35s are actually stationed, and very rare they do fly, and very rare out of those rare occasions they fly around on the top of my house.
So apparently F-35 35 times better than F1.
What they're even F1? Were they? Oh, okay, Formula One. Okay. Oh, here was you saying yes. Yeah, there is actually in Menlo Park a group that supports training for F-35B, and you can literally time to time find them on landing there. But again, we are far from here, so it's pretty rare that they're flying in these directions. Anyway. Last thing I want to mention, if I'm coming to Vegas, this will be the second year they're coming to Vegas. I'm not going to be there.
Does it have like a separate track there?
Strip, my friends. They will be right on the strip.
Nice.
So this is effectively the map, and I don't know which one, Sands Boulevard, Las Vegas Boulevard. I guess strip is this one. So I don't know which part is the strip over here, but yes. Somewhere here is a strip. Tickets from 1,000, and for the 1,000s you will get to the area where you only will be standing, you will not be sitting, and this means that you have to come there really early to be in the front row, and then 1,500 is the cheapest, where you will have a predefined spot to sit.
That's like, probably the most interesting. It's pit stop area, right? Like where you can actually see like a team is working and I know.
If you want to watch that specific part, sure. But the most interesting, usually the parts where there is a higher chances of overtaking. Either corners where the actual fight will be, or the straight where there is opportunity to overtake. So this is usually the most interesting part to be at.
Okay. Maybe I'll watch something of it.
Anyway, for the warm-up, that's all from my side. I don't have too many other topics. You're supposed to be the DJ today, and you said that you have one topic. What did you bring?
Actually, let's go through Llama 3. Not as it's probably not a big team. I seen release. I seen like a lot of people on Twitter talking about Llama. They're doing already fine-tuning, whatever. I just downloaded it with Llama, and I still haven't tried yet. I've seen some people very happy about it. Some people say hallucinate a lot, so I don't know yet. I need to try it. But apparently, what I understand, Meta also released their own ChatGPT version, like hosted, so you can start using it, right?
Yes. If you go to aimeta.com, and it actually works without registration. You don't have to log in.
It's like ChatGPT 3.5.
Continue without login. Oh, Jesus. My edge. So, it's actually much closer to GPT-4. And one thing that specifically doesn't work, maybe it will work. One thing that specifically impressed me is the speed.
I've seen some people make it, they use some hosted service, not Meta, someone else, and someone get like 800 tokens per second. So almost instant.
Yep. The interesting part that they cannot show right now, speed related. So if you actually log in as a Facebook user, you can use it as a DALL-E. And when you type imagine space and then prompt, it will generate image. So that is also happening instantly. As you type and changing prompt, you will see the immediate change in the image.
Interesting how they use it. Like, it's still like, I feel like they burn a lot of money on this one. I'm curious, like, what would be... So Llama 3, they open source it. Is it the same that they use inside, or it's something different?
I think it's different because I don't think Llama 3 is multimodal, so it not capable of image generation. Oh, generation for sure, but it's not capable of image understanding.
About text.
I think my hypothesis, and I actually do not know the answer here, that under the hood they have a model that's slightly differently trained. That's my guess.
Interesting. Like I'm curious, like what would be the strategy? It seems like some, at least Meta, I just suspect, right? It's a speculation, but like everyone making models and everyone making progress. Obviously, OpenAI is like a bit forward, like the first, right? But eventually, making these models will be, not easy. It will still cost money, but you always will get, okay, I want that kind of quality and I can make it. And it seems like Meta tried to bet on user acquisition, like to get so many users, or like at least try to get so many users that when there are like 10 different models and they're all good, people just use whatever they used to, Oh, I already use Meta, why to switch to whatever? Like it's already in my phone, already like do some, shortcuts, whatever. I feel like it's similar to browsers, like browsers right now, they work pretty much the same way. And you pick whatever is like, you picked before. And Chrome get a really good user base because they were first and they were acquired users from Internet Explorer, like back then.
Makes sense, but so I'm still not sure I understood. What's your point about why Meta is doing this?
Like why is they open sourcing? Why are they trying like building ChatGPT? I think they want to get to catch up with ChatGPT, and looks like they don't care about, I would say, they don't care that their model used by other people or other companies as far as they can get user base. And they have like a huge amount like regular users that can pour into this tool.
But this is what I'm not sure I still getting in this approach. User base to the model doesn't mean anything for them. Like it's not like a browser that if you control, you can have a traffic for a search. The model is a binary.
No, they will use data, like people type, people generate something. They will use this data. And imagine like right now there's a login with Facebook. They can attach whatever you type into ChatGPT to your profile and then upsell you advertisement. It's much better than like Google searches.
Okay, from that perspective, I agree. What I was, I think, more specifically referring, why to open source the model? Like, what the reason for them to give you weight so you can download it? Because the fact that it's from Facebook will not drive any usage to the Facebook.
I think I got how to formulate it. I think it doesn't really matter. Either they open source it, don't open source it. Like so many companies already making so many models. Their model will just another one. Yes, someone could use it, but it doesn't really matter. If they not open source it, someone will use like Mixtral model or came up with something else. So it's not really a barrier to create a model. It still requires some money, but it's not like a huge barrier for other companies to do it. I think that's the case. And for them, maybe they just don't care. Maybe they try to use like for public image. Maybe they just want to oversaturate markets or like many models, something like this.
To be fair, the model is really good. It's in some open source version of Llama 3. In some of the tests are very close to GPT-4, and in some of the tests actually better. So it's a very decent model. You probably cannot run it on your GPU at home on the level and with the quantization that needed to be like GPT-4, but that's a different story.
I just wanted to try it. Now I can.
No, you can, but you cannot run the model that you need if you want GPT-4's type of the experience. So the more smaller and with a shorter context that quantized, sure, it will work.
Yeah, in Llama they have 70 billion parameters and 8 billion parameters. We'll see. I will try to see like if smaller one works for small cases.
Yep. And I only tried for a very short period of time. I asked it several questions, Llama version, and I wasn't able to figure out why it's seemingly using CPU instead of proper metal or GPU under the hood, but this is a long story. I don't know why.
Strange.
Yeah. Anyway, the downside of this model, 20K. I think the Llama 3 has context size 20K, maybe less, something ridiculously small. There is about 20 models, model lengths. Okay, I do not remember the size, but it's small. That's the only downside of the Llama that I see. Small context, the rest looks reasonable. Especially that we now have Gemini 1.5 with a context size of some ridiculous context size of 1 million token. This just
is it really working? Like if you really feed like such a huge document with 1 million, will it really understand, take into account like all parts of this document?
So you're probably referring to stack and the needle type of the test, and yeah. It's not universal in the sense that it's not good in searching needle in all possible parts of the text, equally good, but it's still good in 80% of the cases.
Okay, I see.
Somehow almost...
I think the problem here, like big context is really important in some cases, like legal, you want to pour huge amount of legal documents, and that's actually where you need this needle in the stack thing.
That's true, yes. And again, it doesn't mean that it will miss it, but it might, in some of the cases. For me, it's important when I'm working with Codebase. I really gave up on building, hoping that I will build the proper agent that will be able to chunk everything, processes correctly. I'm still far away from finishing building it. Yeah, we'll see. Okay, so
GCP Cloud Next, is it related to Gemini?
This is related to UI. The Google just had the Cloud Next event, and the Cloud Next 2024. I would highly suggest to watch the keynote. Was all about AI, like literally AI everywhere. And to be fair, I really like where Google is taking the AI right now. So specifically, they have introduced agents. And effectively, agent is Google, Gemini. I'm trying to Google at the same time. So agents are custom GPTs if we're using vocabulary of ChargerPT.
Okay, are they like work the same way, or it's like slightly different?
They are, in my opinion, in some cases better. So the overall, it's a similar concept: pre-prompt, goal, and actions. Actions the same. They're using even the same schema. ChargerPT opt-in to use open source, open API schema, and they're using the same open API schema. You feed it there. But here is where what makes specific Google agents apart from others. They have tons of the predefined sources that you can just enable. For example, if you have a website inside of the agent, by several clicks, you can enable a tool that you don't even have to build yourself that will expose your agent to search on top of your domain, because there is a Google behind. And in this way, you can build a chatbot that will be answering and acting as salesperson for your website with just pre-prompt and that tool available out of the box.
That makes sense.
The same goes for all databases. BigQuery, just tell it you want to have an access, you want to give it an access, at this point read-only, to particular databases in BigQuery or other storages, Google Cloud Storage, and we'll just be able to access data there. It's literally like...
This is a big one for analysts. So even like if you're a business owner, you don't really need analysts, right? Like, I mean, you still need analysts, but for many things you can do it yourself. Which is nice.
Yeah, and to be fair, analysts might be just creating these chatbots and giving it to you. Now, at the same time,
that's true.
At the same time, they also give you ability to integrate agent to things like Telegram, Viber, Slack, Discord, almost out of the box. So this is your complete end-to-end experience. You have with their website, then you're creating agent with a pre-prompt, you're injecting the data, and here you go, it just works. It looks like a magic, and if you need something else, you're just building the tooling. And the last thing that I remember, they actually introduced embedding for the BigQuery. So inside of the BigQuery, you now can store embedding and query embedding. So BigQuery now is a VectorDB.
Okay. Was it before, like, did they change BigQuery, or is it just because they attach this to use it as a VectorDB?
Oh, so I think they changed BigQuery somehow.
I see. Okay. Yeah, I'm a bit out of it. I just, like, when we were talking, I tried Llama 7B on a couple of questions. One was, like, first, yes, very, like, 7B at least. It's, like, super fast on my laptop. But it gives me a good answer to question, like, make 5 variants of email for that topic. But then I just I ask the same, I just copy pasted from ChargerPT and ask a question about movie. Question is, what is anti-utopia movie where guy was pretending being another to fly to space?
Okay.
And ChatGPT figured it out. It's a Gattaca movie, but Llama gave me a completely different result. It says Korean movie Moon. Maybe it's actually the same. Maybe I'm just like don't know about it.
Korean movie Moon.
But I wanted to know about Gattaca movie because I forgot the name.
Okay, so we have the Korean movie Moon. Synopsis: in the near future, South Korea's first crew mission to the moon ends in tragic disaster when yada yada yada. Second human spaceflight launched successfully, but the strong solar wind caused yada yada yada. Okay.
Yeah, so maybe it's not really related to my question.
Yeah, this looks like a copycat of what the name of the movie Mars, the guy that's stuck on the Mars. But yeah, it's not related to your question for sure. But anyway, okay. So how fast was that? How fast the inference was? Ooh, I think
something with my internet.
Okay, now I hear you again. So the question.
My internet.
Now I see you better. It was even we lost Dmitry again. Maybe. Oh, he's back. I think he is back somehow.
Yeah, I'm back, but like something with my internet.
Now I can hear you. Now I can see you. So looks like whatever was that, it's reasonably resolved now.
I'm not sure. I still have a laggy view. Inference is very fast for 7B. I haven't tried 70B yet. I'm not even sure I can run it with I have 64 gigabytes of memory. So we'll see.
You should be able to run it. You just have to wait a long time.
Yeah, that's true. No, let me actually. Yeah, I'll try it. A Llama pool, Llama 370B. No. Man, I really like a Llama tool. I mean, it's just like simplify all the small downloading them here and there and get out of space and didn't know where I download something like with a bunch of Python code.
I think the moment you started downloading, your internet connection started being poor. I think.
Okay, I turned it off. That makes sense.
Yeah, it's interesting but understandable. You know, small deviation. I spent days trying to figure out an ambiguity networking. And I don't know if you remember or not, I was telling the story that my Philips Hue was not working. Like, it was a problem to me to set up Philips Hue. So I finally ended up figuring out what's happening. And Ubiquiti has this mod, isolated network. For what this means that no connection out, no connection out, no connection in. Like, the network is isolated, but inside of the network, the devices can communicate with each other.
Okay.
Now, I added a rule that says from outside, from my main network to inside, allow. And what I was not able to derive.
Okay, is it Bonjour service DNS rerouting thing?
No, because for that there is a special checkbox said that multicast and different reroutes enable. So that actually worked.
Okay.
And that's why I was suspecting that everything should work. Now, it turns out that when you enable, this is why I hate UIs, all high-level services. When you're enabling this checkbox, there is really no telling, is it add this rule on the top or below everything that it shows you is the rule of firewall? Because if it's add you on the top, doesn't matter what you put, you cannot override it. And as I understood now, it's adding it on the top. So it doesn't matter that your rule below says allow from there to here, denies the first one, and that's it. It will never reach the override.
Okay, yeah.
So I had to disable the checkbox and that deny in the bottom myself.
I see, it makes, like, I have this like UI and peplink, which essentially just UI says like it's go from top to the bottom. First match work, like first matched will work. Whatever it's allow or deny. So.
They have exactly the same schema, and this is how classical firewall in Linux work, and how any firewall should work. And they have it here, but they have this simplified version of the network setup with just clicking and checkboxing for the very simple set of rules. And in some cases, it's actually weird because in some cases, when you're adding this checkbox, it will appear in the list of your rules, but it will be uneditable. So in order to remove it, you need to go back, release the checkbox, go in, and you will see it's disappeared. So you cannot edit it. But there is several checkboxes that doing something without telling you where is how the rule of firewall looks like, where it's adding this rule. And man, the moment I release it, everything starts working, and it was it. Now everything works as expected. I'm extremely happy customer, but I spent several days just because of that. Yeah,
that is part of experience.
Yes, yes.
I have the same issue, I think, with VPN. Router has VPN. I enable it as like a separate thing, and it didn't work. And apparently it's because I need to explicitly say outside from that IP to that IP, allow it. And IPs both, like one is VPN IP and one is like my internal IP, which wasn't really obvious for me. I guess it's like maps to some internal Linux like firewall thing, and it makes sense. But it's not when you just use it from UI.
Yeah, all this user simplification, each time when I hope, okay, I can just put a checkbox, realizing that I will end up learning how it works under the hood, and only after that I will be able to use it properly. Each time, each freaking time. Anyway, that's how no code breaks out.
Yeah. On a funny news, Cybertruck recall. I think it happens yesterday, today.
Sorry, do you mind if I will do 2 cents on the previous topic before we jump, and then we'll.
Okay.
Last thing I want to mention about the Google Cloud Next and the AI that they're putting everywhere, and the reason why I like what Google is doing. Google has tons of the APIs, and they start building this agent for the sake of APIs. So just to give you an example of what they have shown on the Google Cloud. So they shown that the problem where some traffic doesn't work, they open the agent that actually has access to the Google Cloud on your behalf. And this is agent built by GCP, and they ask why and the symptom. And they actually make a several call to GCP, told them, oh, there is a firewall over there. I see the traffic flows over there. It looks like a magic. It looks like exactly how it should be implemented. And for the more consumer side of the things, imagine that Gemini Pro that have tons of the tools already enabled, you can give it a YouTube link. And my example, I gave it a YouTube link with Ubiquiti network setup, and I told it, can you give me TLDR of steps that I need to do? Because I don't want to watch this 1 hour.
Turned wrong way somewhere, It sounds like learning how things work. We just build pile of shit and then okay, let's put AI on top. Maybe it solves the problem.
They don't want to watch 1 hour video where it's dude half an hour explain what the router is.
That's another issue. Why every information now should be YouTube video right now instead of a 2 pages blog post or something.
And then you're using AI to convert it back to a blog post.
Okay, that one I like. Okay, just get YouTube video, put it into AI, and it should be blog post with few pictures and text.
Exactly.
Okay, I like this idea. That will be perfect.
And the Gemini Pro already works like that. So because one of the tools is YouTube, so you literally can give it link on the YouTube and start asking questions. That's all from my side on the GCP part specifically, and I sorry to interrupt you on Cybertruck. Tell me, what was the recall of that 4 wheels piece of the car?
It's actually very interesting. They recall, I think, 4,000. So what happens? They have accelerator pedal, and I think it's metal or plastic, and on top of it, it has a pad, for your feet, with rubber and everything. Apparently, when they were assembly to make assembly, they put some lubricant or something to slide it so it's faster, and it wasn't really approved. It's just technicians who was doing this assembly or just added this improvement to their work. And apparently in some situation it can actually slip, and the worst part is not just slip. If you press your pedal all the way down and it slips, it can exactly stack in a place where 2 pieces of material come in, so it can stack there completely. You still can press a stop and do brakes and to stop, but in general this is pretty unsafe thing. I remember this some similar thing happens to Toyota many years ago when it was pads or something, pedal could also stack between them, and they did recall and change it. But it's pretty strange they don't check such as critical parts. I mean, if you look at Cybertruck, almost no extra parts, it's very simple in terms of technical things, but they didn't check really important. So what's next? Someone lost a steering wheel while because tech process was changed.
Man, Ford Fusion recall steering wheel, and the steering wheel retaining bolt made loose, allowing the steering wheel to detach while driving. That's what's recalled on my Ford.
Okay, it's even better.
Yes, this was a real recall on my Ford. Your steering wheel could detach while you're driving specifically. And by the way, it did happen to several people on the highway, so it's how they learned.
Yeah, that's a scary part.
Yeah, people mocking Tesla, as they say the classical car manufacturing better in every way. This is an example, even it recalls.
Yeah, well, because when I hear the news, I thought Tesla previous Tesla recall was to change a font on the screen, something like this. So now it's a pedal.
But this seems like indeed the problem, especially if you will on the accelerator will lock it. I hope that when you're pressing brakes and accelerator at the same time, brakes override.
If you press brakes, I think it's for most of the cars. This is the case. It should stop. Brakes should always get higher priority. So yeah, that's not a huge problem, but this problem.
By the way, what's your take on Cybertruck? Will you buy it?
I'm in a queue, but I'm not sure I will buy it or not. Today, actually, I had to carry. So we went to shop with the wife and kid, and we bought a large piece of art, not super large, but I had to do like a Lego style, like trying to fit everyone and everything in the car. So it was like a bit small. I was like, hey, if I would have Cybertruck, I'd just dump all shit like in the back and forget about it. Yeah, I think I like it. Like, at least I don't need a truck, like a classical one, but like Cybertruck is big and it has like beds that is closing. I think for me, like going snowboarding or going shopping or anything, it would be nice. It's pretty big, so I couldn't put it in garage. It will stay outside. That's probably downside. Yeah, I don't know. I think I like it. The problem, I don't want to use such car for commute. For commute, I want something smaller. And the problem here, I like a smaller Tesla for commute because the electric is pretty less. But I also don't want two electric cars. I want at least one gas car. So it's kind of tricky.
Yeah, that's understandable. To be fair, I'm looking at the range and the price, and all-wheel drive, which the only one makes sense because it actually gives you 340 miles. It's still 340. It's not that, 400 from that perspective, and that is sad, to be honest. And delivered in 2025, 80K. It's
yeah, for this money you can buy like something like Toyota Sequoia, which will have tons of space inside and be on a gas. I don't know. We'll see. Maybe they change prices. Who knows? Maybe they issue a second version.
You know what I like? The only car that I GMC. Jesus, I forgot GMC. So there is a car. Okay, I need to figure out. I found only one car that actually cheap, have all-wheel drives, has 3-line seating that can be converted to a 4-line if needed, and also plug-in hybrid. That gives you HOV, and that give you effectively some range from the battery. I think it was only one. Maybe now it's more, but there was like minivan. It looks horribly bad. I think it was produced by GMC or Chrysler, but nevertheless. The car-wise, I'm still waiting on the range. And so far, by the way, the top is Tesla S. Tesla S, I think, one of the top. This is a few cars that actually can give you 400 miles. Not the base one, but this has long range with 400 miles plus. 402 to be specific.
Do you have any particular range that you want, like to go to somewhere?
That's a good question. I do not know yet. I can say that my 250 that I can have on Bolt is not enough. 250 on the car, let's actually do a calculation. 250 minus 30, that's actually just because it never goes to 50 if the weather is cold and if you have several people. So we're already speaking 220. Now multiply, let me do it the proper way, multiply it on 80% because you don't want to charge it 100 often, so it's 176. Minus roughly 20 miles because you don't want to run it to zero, and you always need additional charge because who knows, you're arriving to a charging station that doesn't work. So this gives you 156.
I see.
That's
it's not.
Yeah, that's nothing. So I don't know how much. I I need. Let's compute it. If 400 minus, let's say the same. 30, 0.1 minus 20. This will give me 270 actual miles that I can drive.
Yeah, it was a question you need destination, right? Like for me, for example, I go skiing, and it's like a very particular range that I need. I haven't tried Tesla yet, at winter. I would like to try next year. With my estimations, I need to charge it once, which is fine. And that's what I'm like. I need, right? I don't go to LA on a car. And next actually would be probably like, okay, what car I need to go to LA, for example, so I can do in one run. But I can't go with a gas to LA in one run, so it doesn't really matter. Pretty much the same.
I just realized the answer to this question when you start speaking about the LA. And there is two actually answers. Let's start with short commute. So my biggest requirement right now for electric car, because I have a free charger at my employer's, I want to be able to survive from Friday evening to Monday morning.
I see.
I don't want to charge in between. And this means in my current situation, this means 40 miles from SF, 40 miles to NSF on a Monday. So 80 miles and Saturday and Sunday. Tons of the driving around on Saturday and Sunday. So far, my car doesn't allow me that. Like, I cannot drive anywhere on weekends. If I do drive, I will have to charge it myself with my own out of pocket money.
I see. Okay, but if you would charge it at home, you wouldn't have this problem, right? Like, it would be enough for regular daily drive.
Yeah, but then I will have to pay for that. I don't want to pay for that. If I don't have a free charger, sure, but I do have a free charger. So,
makes sense.
And for the LA specifically, the reason why I also would want to get there in one charge, because if you do charging on the way, while yes, sure, you need to charge a gasoline car, it will take a little bit more of time, but the most importantly, it will force you to choose the route based on the charging station, not based on where you want to go.
That's true, but also there are many chargers on the road right now. Obviously, like if you go to some wild places, probably pick another car. But if you go to LA, there are like many chargers anyway. I think it will since now they licenses is like a standard Tesla for all cars, we will see more of them pop up here and there. So I think this will be less and less a problem over time.
Yeah, to be specific, not that they actually license, they make an open source standard. So now it's no longer Tesla started, North America standard for the charging, and I'm waiting for get access to it probably next year. So then I will just need to have an adapter.
Wait, I thought they already allow it right now, or you still need why don't you have access to it?
So honestly, I don't know. And what I mean by that to my understanding, and I have not tried and have not changed anything. First of all, I'm not aware about the adapter existing. You probably can buy, because there is an adapter from DC to the Tesla for Tesla people. Maybe they already exist. And
I think there are people already using it, I've seen.
Yes, because some of the manufacturer already gave the access. Because what I'm not sure is how to get access to the actual network and account. Because historically, you have to have a car, Tesla car, and inside of your app, you will get access to a charger. Now the question, how without the car, you can enable the charging.
Okay, that I don't know.
Sure, because you have a Tesla.
Okay, we have one topic. The question, will you have free charging on your next job?
Of course. On the next job, I will have way more free. And this is employer that notoriously know about doing stuff for free. But I'm not yet ready to tell who it will be. So this is...
People can guess in the comments what will be your next job.
Exactly. Yes, exactly. But yes, I do planning to change job. Just stay tuned in 2 weeks. In 2 shows from now, on the 3rd show from now, we will be discussing. Yes. How are things on your side?
Yeah, for me, it's not a secret. After almost 7 years at Uber, I'm moving to Snowflake. Hopefully, I will move. Nothing will happen between now and 2 weeks when I should start. But yeah, it's interesting to see what they're doing and to change pace. I hope I'll change pace. I want something really faster moving.
When do they have
I think
earnings?
I didn't know much about Snowflake before. Like when they're interviewing, I'm like, okay, I need to watch YouTube what it is. I mean, I hear about it a lot, but I didn't know like exactly what it is. And apparently like the product makes sense. And now I understand why people are so excited about it. Like people like everywhere using it. Now it makes sense to me. They're also doing AI stuff now, which is probably mandatory for any company these days.
Yeah, if you're trying to stay serious. Tell me about the product or problem space that they're solving. Yes.
I think in general, like, you can call it a data warehouse. I think BigQuery from Google is kind of similar. The idea here, like if your company has a lot of data, you need to store it and process, analyze it. Instead of like building all pieces yourself, support our infrastructure, either your infrastructure on top of cloud, you can use one solution, which your engineers can easily use to pour data in. Like, for example, I've seen like some like in documentation, for example, you can connect it to your Kafka, for example, and just like get everything. And from other side, your analyst can use it. What's interesting, they also provide a lot of data sets from vendors, like third-party vendors. Some of them free, some of them paid. So technically, you can get your data, and then on top of it, you can enhance it with other people's data. Like example, for example, if you have shops around the world and locations, you can find you can find a data set about crimes in these areas to understand where you need to increase your security in the shop. I'm just like imagining this example. That's quite an interesting concept of like, you store your data, but you can do select from and join it with another table from completely different data set. Curious how to see how it's inside.
Yeah, that would make sense why they're doing AI. It's almost the same concept that on the Cloud Next, Google showed, where you effectively have overarching AI that have access to a data lake, and you can just be asking question, and it will just do a query on your behalf.
I think right now they mostly announce things like a Copilot. Essentially, Snowflake, if you go into UI, like which is accessible to everyone, they have like SQL like essentially it's like Notepad with a SQL that you write and you can do query, and apparently they're adding AI to that thing. So it's not like a fully like you explained for Google things.
I see. True, but I do still believe that this is a starting point. I can clearly see the potential.
Yeah.
That was my point.
Of course, like it makes sense. Like just saying, okay, I need this data, that data, give me analytics for 1 month or something.
Yep. Okay, I don't have too many other questions about Snowflake. First of all, congrats. I want to learn more. Let's see if you will be able to give me some credits when you're there as the preferred customers.
We have one small topic I added on gaming side. I finally played Helldivers, and I played with 3 people I know, so like team of 4. It was a pretty fun experience. I think like game developers knew what they're doing. It's not like a super like graphic, or it's no super like design, but game is really good on like making this fun for people. To give you example how it looks like, you've probably seen Starship Troopers movie.
Yes, of course, yes.
So they're clearly inspired by that one. So brave soldiers who manage democracy to the universe. And there are like a couple of interesting concepts. There's a global map for everyone. Essentially, when you pick a map, there's a map and 2 fractions of enemies. One is the robots, another bugs. Mm-hmm. And there are planes. You can pick any planet you want, like which is available, and start like missions. And when you win mission, you contribute to global progression of this planet. So slowly everyone moving these planets. And game gives some like it's called global order. Like, okay, we all attack this planet, so like we can make progression here. Mm-hmm. And gameplay wise, it's like 4 people, third-person shooter. Like shooting is somehow simple. Interesting that they didn't make instant change. Like when you play with mouse, you can like rotate very quickly in most cases. Yep. Here you still have inertia. Like you have animation which like slow, the bigger weapons, the slower animation. But the funniest part of the thing is stratagems. Essentially, every moment, like on a cooldown, you can make a combination of arrows, like top, left, right, and call something. They're like airstrikes, bombs, minefields, everything. And you drop a beacon and it like drops on your enemy and makes like huge boom. The funny part, game has a friendly fire.
Oh.
And as game suggests in the one hits, friendly fire is not. Because like killing each other is like a part of experience. And I can give you example how far it goes. For example, there's a turret that you can deploy. And turret, like it's an automatic turret shooting enemies. And enemies, regardless if you staying between turret and enemy or your friends staying, it just like shoot enemies regardless. And it will shoot you as well. So a lot of stupid things happens, a lot of funny moments. So it was pretty cool to play.
So you mentioned this first person shooter, but does it have a progression, or it's like just multiplayer?
Yeah, there are progressions. So like personal progression, like you get new weapons, new skins. Plus there is a progression on your ship, which gives you these stratagems. Like, for example, initially you have a laser strike from a space, from your ship. Which you like really your personal ship, you actually name it in the game with some fun names. And then you can do like cluster strike from a space or dropping supplies from a space, things like this. And the game makes a really cool fun of this, like a very how's it called, like a masculine, like a representation, like a soldier's democracy, like a lot of like jokes about this. It makes sense.
But I guess what I was actually asking is, is
it like a single player?
Yes,
company?
is it a story there?
No, it's completely like the story. Like there is like part of story, like when you go to ship, some people can say, "Hey, on this planet we have a cyber rehabilitation facility. Now, like everyone dead. Let's save them." So there are bits and pieces, but it's not really like a story or single player mode you can play. It just like always, it only makes sense to play with other people. I don't think it makes sense to play alone.
I see. You probably can still play with a bot or something like that, but yeah.
No, like when you play, they give you like other people joining you. There's no bots on your side.
Got it.
Which is sometimes funny. I got to play and there was like some child who didn't know how to play and constantly dying. So I was resurrecting, like when you resurrect person, instead of you dropping your like a beacon and like ship send another person. So I was using him as a bait for robots.
I see. And from what I heard, this is one of the games that cannot play because of the Xbox and it's only a PlayStation. Maybe I am so close to just buying PlayStation and giving up, but I'm waiting PlayStation Pro or something next version that I hope they will.
Pretty much the same.
Still, but something hopefully will be bigger or I don't know.
Increase CPU, but that's it.
Yeah, and Xbox went on quite opposite side. They actually looks like moving to certification and side that in a sense that anyone will be able to produce console, drop a label Xbox, and it will work with Xbox library, and it will be a console. But this also means that there will be a much worse common denominator. So we can forget about.
I think it's like Steam tries the same with Steam Machine some time ago. It was pretty hard. I think the good part of PlayStation, we've seen it like in previous generation. People who make games for PlayStation, they learn how to optimize them very well. And like, for example, PlayStation 4 games that you see on start and on the end, it's like very different on graphics.
Oh yeah, this is, by the way, what I really like about the consoles, because you're taking the console that is supposed to work worse in terms of performance than, let's say, 4080. But the actual desktop PC with 4080 in many games will work worse just because the developers don't want to optimize for all possible zoo of GPUs that you can have on the desktop, but they do want to optimize for the Xbox and for the PlayStation. And it shows.
Yeah, I think on PC you only like if you get like top of the shelf, like top cards, you will be good, but everything else is like no. I know many people on PC still plays like full HD and they're happy about it.
By the way, even top GPU, if you why do I still having that playing? Even for the top GPUs, there is so many YouTube video that shows how performance of 4090 is horrible, and usually it's horrible because again, these top GPUs on the PC, they are actual outliers. Not many people have them, and these,
most people have a lower one. Yeah, that's true. Okay, how about we end here? It's
1 hour.
1 hour.
Exactly. Yes. Okay. Thank you, folks. Today we actually have a very small audience, no more than 10 people during the whole show. I think first time when we have such a small audience. But thank you for coming. Thank you for stopping by.
Yeah. Thank you. Goodbye.
Bye. Okay, 1 second, we'll stop live.